I got an idea, Don.
Yeah, Eric. Hey, Eric, good to see you.
I've got an idea. I'm thinking a fundraising fight between you and I in the octagon.
Oh,
Hey, well, let me tell you who my coach is, and that's Rafael that we met earlier, three-time jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu champion. That's my coach.
It would end up being some weird thing where we're trying to run away from each other, just in circles. It wouldn't be very exciting.
and the rules are if Don can tag Raphael, he can get in.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I can leap into his arms, and then Eric, it'll be all over for you, my friend.
You don't want that. You don't want that. All I have to say, Don, on your way out, URP's in for $100. I'll donate in 2 hours once I'm done with this. So good cause. I've been watching. We gotta put some money into this.
Okay, we'll
you.
do it. Thank you very much. Good luck, Eric. Have a good time.
Thank you.
And I'm going to be watching.
Oh, right. All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, Don.
See, how do I exit this?
It's always the strangest few moments of the Zoom conversation when you're trying to figure out how to get out of it and to turn off, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
There we go.
Okay, how do I leave meeting?
There we go. Who do we have? Is that Drew down there?
That's me. I'm here.
Drew, how you doing?
Doing fantastic. How are you, Eric?
I'm doing well. So I'm first of all, let me set this all up right here. I'm Eric Schranz, host of Ultra Runner Podcast. My first guest is going to be Drew Manning. Drew, are you alone today, or are you with Julie?
I'm just going to be by myself today. She's not going to be here for it. So yeah.
Have you been watching?
Just the last few minutes and his Insta stories and things like that. So
it's pretty amazing. I mean, it looks like they were delayed a little tiny bit, but it looks like just past 65 miles.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Yeah, it's so crazy.
I'm waiting for the new pace chart to come up, but it looks like he's in the low 7s, high 6s at 65 miles on a treadmill. And it's have you ever done anything like this, Drew?
Not on a treadmill. I attempted my first 100-mile run last year with about 1 month of preparation. So I didn't go into it too smart, to be honest with you, but I pulled out 80 miles in 24 hours. So I was pretty proud of myself. And Zach Bitter has been a really inspiration of mine to push myself and tweak a few things to be able to accomplish this task. But I'm not a born runner like Zach seems to be. I don't know.
Zach's a very unique beast. Yeah, he's born to run in this type of event. You know, we've watched him for the past decade. He's done some trail stuff. He's done all sorts, and he really, really just excels on track and now treadmill. And it's fascinating to watch. You use the word inspiration. He's obviously a big inspiration to a lot of people, but he's also one of those people who's frustrating because you look at him right now on the treadmill, you go, I could do that. That doesn't look that hard. He makes it look easy, doesn't he?
Totally. I know. But we can all aspire to at least learn from him and pull something from, it's something that he's doing to better ourselves in small ways or big ways, whatever it looks like.
Yeah. So to give us a sec and or give us a brief introduction of yourself and Fit to Fat to Fit.
Yeah, so my name is Drew Manning, and I did something called Fit to Fat to Fit back in 2011. And this is my journey of going from fit my entire life. I grew up in a family of 11 brothers and sisters. We all played sports. I played football and wrestling from a very young age. My parents had 11 kids. I don't know what they were thinking. But anyways, I was always active. Oh, you have 11 kids too?
No, I know.
Oh, you know what they were thinking. Yes. So anyways, I was never overweight. And then I became a personal trainer in 2009. And what did I know about being overweight? I didn't know anything. I thought it was easy for people, like just stop eating so much food and go work out. How hard could it be? And so my clients would tell me, Drew, you don't really understand what it's like to be overweight. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I don't get it. I don't understand why it's so hard. And so I went on this journey of 6 months, put on 75 pounds of pure fat, zero exercise, ate a standard American diet, and then luckily lost the weight, wrote a book about it, and had a couple seasons of a TV show called Fit to Fat to Fit on A&E, where we put other trainers through that process. And I came out of it more empathetic, a better understanding of the mental and emotional side of transformation. And that's a little bit about me in a nutshell.
I want to hear more, though, about gaining the weight and about losing it. You just kind of briefed over that in about 10 seconds. You said the standard American diet. Were you going out of your way to gain it?
Yeah, it was on purpose. So I was purposely, eating these types of highly processed foods, refined sugars that were cheap, convenient, and I'll be honest with you, they tasted really, really good. Like
Yeah.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch twice a day.
Oh,
I mean, that's like a dream.
living the dream.
Yeah.
And then to lose it, and then talk to us about at what point you transitioned into the keto diet.
Yeah. So it took me 6 months to gain the weight, first of all, and then
Right.
6 months to lose the weight. Losing the weight was very humbling because the way I kind of compare it is, there's all these people that are naturally fit, naturally healthy on top of this mountain, and the clients and people who are overweight, are at the bottom trying to get to the top. And for us at the top, it looks so easy, right? For me, for the first time, I came down off that mountain to the bottom to journey up again. And that was one of the hardest things I've ever done. It was way harder than I thought it would be. The emotional connection to food is way more powerful than I think any of us can imagine, especially if you've never had food addiction or you've never struggled with weight. I experienced a small piece of what that's like, and it was truly humbling.
No, I can imagine. As anybody who's getting older and they're everything is slowing down a bit, you realize it quickly. I've heard I'm telling you something you already know, but I've heard my whole life about people with eating disorders and disordered eating and how hard it is to stop. And I've never had that problem.
Yeah.
And I turned 40 a few years ago, and now I'm going, okay, this is what they're talking about. And it's tough. So at what point did you start going LCHF?
Yeah, so that happened about 4.5 years ago, listening to a podcast with Dr. Dom D'Agostino, who I'm sure we all know in the keto community, talking to Tim Ferriss about the science behind this diet. I had no idea there was so much scientific research being done on a diet, right? And so that piqued my interest. And here I am, a self-experimenter naturally. So I decided to do a 60-day experiment with keto, and I loved the way my brain felt. I went from eating 7 meals a day to 2 meals a day, and not losing any of my muscle mass, not losing my performance in the gym. And my brain was so much clearer, my digestion was better. And then from there, went on the Dr. Oz show, talking about the benefits of the ketogenic diet, and then wrote my second book called Complete Keto, and launched that just a little over a year ago.
Yeah. And at some point, so you're on because you're a keto person, and Zach is as well. Zach's been quite a few years, and I've had him on the show a few times, and the science gets a bit too deep for me. I'm more of a big picture guy.
Same.
But it is hard to ignore the number of athletes, endurance athletes, not just in running but in other endurance events, who are on the keto diet, who are into that and have figured it out. And the amount of, my head gets fuzzy when Zach starts talking about 12% of this and these exact things, but it takes that type of attitude to excel well in for ultra training and for watching your diet that well.
Yeah, it's so true. But the cool thing with the ketogenic diet that I'm a big fan of is you got your endurance athletes that can benefit from it. You have people with epilepsy or seizures, people that are trying to reduce inflammation or type 2 diabetes, or people trying to lose a little bit of weight. It's a diet that can fit into so many different lifestyles and so many different applications, right? And that's what's the cool thing about it to me is, okay, what else can we do with this lifestyle? Or not even really a lifestyle. For me, it's a totally different metabolic state that our bodies are entering into, where we are burning fat as energy. My friend, I don't know if you know him. His name is Mike McKnight. He's friends with Zach. He just did it. Yeah, he came on my podcast. He did a 100-mile run with no food, 0 fuel, just water.
Yeah, I saw. That's wild. They were Browning was on earlier with Jamil this morning.
Oh,
they
yeah,
were talking about it, and that was a hell of a. I mean, I think a lot of people are shaking their head, going, "Okay, you did okay. You did all right. You're alive.
Yeah,
recovery's got to be interesting." But let's talk about what's going on today. And what's the furthest you've run on a treadmill in either hours or miles?
That's the thing. I don't know how Zach is doing this. On the treadmill would be torture. On a track would be torture. A treadmill's like even more torturous. He looks like he's in a basement with a fan, and that's it. There's no windows. There's no view. At least put the treadmill outside or something.
Well, I mean that comes down to temperature, and they're in Phoenix.
Yeah,
it should be different to northern Canada or something. It really is something, and Zach is able to get into that kind of mental state, just turns off and goes. Although he's watching every metric, he's still just kind of hyper focused on exactly what's going on right now.
Yeah. So I live here. Oh, sorry. I didn't answer your question. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah. Yeah. So over the winter, my longest run on a treadmill is 20 miles. And that was brutal. It was, I mean, it's pretty long, but I don't know. It's something about, I just love being outside. But if I have to do it, like in the wintertime, I'd rather run on a treadmill than in this freezing cold.
I'm with you. I'm not a fan of the snow. And it's one thing that Jeff Burns was talking about earlier as well, is the difference between treadmill running and running outdoors. Where treadmill, the speed is being pushed on you. This is, what that's set to 640 pace, and that's what you're going to be running. Whereas you're outdoor, you slow down, you can kind of allow that. Where it's a very different pain. It's a very different pain tolerance conversation we're having. What do you want to put on yourself if you're outdoors versus what are you willing to withstand coming from the belt below you? And Zach's able to just kind of accept it and eat it up, and it's fascinating.
Yeah, that's very interesting. If you look at it from a different perspective of, when you're outside, you're running at your own pace, you could easily lose focus after, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours. And if you don't have a watch or, no one's telling you what your time is, you could easily, every few minutes, just kind of, what pace am I? I don't know. But the treadmill is one of those things where it's like, all right, how long can you keep this pace up for? I know I couldn't do that 640 pace. For me, that's unbelievable. That's so crazy.
It's a very different thing, but I mean, Zach's got, like you brought up track stuff, and I mean, Zach's obviously had a tremendous amount of experience on the track. And I think before today, his furthest time on the treadmill was 30 miles. For those just kind of tuning in right now, he's Zach's. I think he just passed 66 miles a few minutes ago. And for those also just catching up, they'll be putting on a lot of some metrics pretty soon. That's going to show his pace, his distance, his pace. Cool. That's shows it in relation to Dave Proctor's record he set last year in Canada. Wow. And Zach is he's got experience in this. I mean, he's really, like I said, figured out his niche and makes it work. And it's bizarre, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, you got to be disciplined to do something like this, mentally disciplined, physically. You got to be in tune with your body. You got to have a good support team too. I don't know how many times has he taken a bathroom break? Have you?
Quite a few. He was taking quite a bit more at the beginning.
Okay.
And he's slowed a bit, and then he usually takes that opportunity to switch machines. It looks like.
Oh,
I've been
to a different treadmill
all day. Yeah.
Oh,
because
okay.
I know that they were. A few weeks ago, they were trying to find the right machine he was going to use from Nordic Track, and nobody had ever run at that pace for 24 hours or for 12 hours straight.
Yeah.
So right now he's switching back and forth, and he's sweating a lot, which is, it's a new machine. So all this,
yeah.
I think he's jumping back and forth. And I think it was Jeff Burns as well brought up something interesting about running on the treadmill. Jeff said he would love to get on the other mill and have it set a slightly different speed, like one thing off, just a tiny bit, just to use different muscle groups to mix up a little tiny bit. And I don't know if Zach's doing that. I can't tell.
Okay.
But it's doing something like this is it's not just the fitness and it's not just the mental aspect, but it's really being in touch and in tune with the technology and the machine he's on, because he's got to really use that to his advantage.
Yeah. What happens if electricity goes out, or what do we do there?
I don't know what happens.
Knock on wood. Sorry, Zach.
Yeah, I don't. If that happens, you have just jinxed it. I don't know. I know that. I mean, you can see above. He's got a fan going. I believe he's got windows open. But he's in Phoenix. In Phoenix, I think Jamil said it's in the high 80s today.
Yeah.
Looks like we are going to have an update coming up. Is that an update coming?
They didn't do music this time.
There we go. No music. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, Eric and Drew. Thanks for hosting.
Hey, Kristen.
So we have that QR code. I heard that you were going to be kind of in a competition with Don. So this should be interesting.
I'm taking a picture of the QR code right now.
Do it. Yep. Yeah. So snapping that picture of that QR code will let you go straight to that. They didn't do music this time.
There we go. No music.
Oh, thanks for hosting.
Hey, Kristen.
That's it. We have that QR code. I heard that you were going to be kind of in a competition with Don. So this should be interesting.
I'm taking a picture of the QR code right now.
Do it. Yep. Yeah. So snapping that picture of that QR code will let you go straight to that. They didn't do music this time.
There we go. No music.
Okay. They said they're getting it fixed. So.
Kristen.
That's it. We have that QR code. I heard that you were going to be kind of in a competition with them 5 times.
I'm still here live. I'm not sure what's going on tech-wise.
Did you guys hear that replay of me saying the same thing like 100 times?
4 times, yeah.
Really, I'm just really good at talking over and over, saying exactly the same thing.
It was pretty solid. Kristen, a quick shout out to you and Leighton and the whole crew. This has been, I've been tuning in and out probably a few hours today. It's interesting. It's making a guy running on a treadmill in his living room in Phoenix interesting to watch. And it's been neat guests and solid job. Nice work.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And, and thank you guys for being willing to give up part of your day. I mean, it's a long day for a Saturday. You could be doing, other things possibly. But I mean, this is where the fun is at, though. So, all right. So we got the prizes up here. So the grand prize from Koros is their top of the line Apex watch, which I believe a couple people were talking about before. Actually, I think it was Dawn that may have been talking about it. So whoever, Matt McDonald, you want to reach out on social media so that we can get that sent over to you. Then we do have a couple prize packs just because we weren't able to get them up with internet issues before. So if you see your name on this list, reach out to us on social media and we will get you all of your little samples and trials of the S-Fuels products. I believe there should be 2 or 3 pages of these. So just make sure to check for your name. And then again, we've got that drawing coming up at 90 miles and we keep getting closer and closer. So get your name in the hat for that X32i Nordic Track Incline Trainer.
Awesome.
It is a pretty great machine. So you want to get in for that.
Look at that vert. Woo!
I know, right? Just get some vert in there, even though, it's not real. So you want to get in there and get that done. But yeah, so that competition for getting that charity in will be good to see at the end of your time slot and to see if who wins between you and Dawn on there.
And that's at 90 miles, I believe, right?
Yeah, 90 miles will be doing the giveaway. Yep.
Okay,
yep.
That'll be awesome. Cool.
Nordic Track. Yeah.
Fantastic.
We do actually have Lewis, Ryan, and Dan Plews with us joining together.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh
Dan, you just crushed your marathon.
In New Zealand, we're at level 2, so we are allowed to be next to each other. We're not breaking.
I mean, it looks a little closer than 6 foot though.
Yeah.
Or sorry.
We're the same bubble, We work.
Closer than Right, so we've got 2 of the Lewis. You hold the world record for off-road triathlon. Is that correct? Did I say that right?
Well, we don't necessarily have like a world record because the
Well,
course changed. But I won just like the Dan version of off-road. I won that for off-road. So yeah. Xterra.
Xterra.
Right. Awesome. And Dan, you just crushed your marathon. I mean, you were hanging out with us a couple hours ago and you just went for a short little jaunt and you wrapped.
There's no joke. 2:43. It was I tell you what, the first thing I said is the thought of doing that another 3 times is ridiculous. You just can't fathom how that is even. I mean, it's hard. Yeah. As long as I outsplit Zach, I'm okay. That's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to outsplit at least one marathon faster than Zach's average. Then I can take it. I can claim that.
What was his last marathon time? Does anybody have that number? I'm curious what it was. I mean, if he's
good question.
It's right around 3 if he's running in the high 6s.
I mean, running 7-minute miles is 3 hours, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it'll be around the 250 to 3, I guess.
And then do a couple more of those.
Well, and now that they have their hopefully have the internet all fixed up, we should be getting that update here soon too. Cool. on his last mile pace, and we can maybe check that out there. But Lewis, you're going for a little bit of a ride today, or just 100 miles?
Yeah, well, we've been spending all this time kind of putting together the whole show. I thought we'd actually get involved in it, and and actually joining the fun. Like it's cool to have the ability to join Zach. Kind of like I've seen the live cast people joining on their bikes and walking and outdoors and on treadmills, and it's just like super cool event to be a part of, and just like to support Zach and the whole event. It's super cool.
Awesome. Well, thanks you guys for taking a little bit more time and joining me for the 30-minute spotlight or 5-minute spotlight. But
Cool.
we'll see you guys later. Thanks, Eric and Drew. And Eric, I'll be checking in to see how you're doing with your fundraising crew.
Very well. Very well. Thank you.
See you guys
Thanks,
in a half
Kristen.
hour.
Bye now. Drew, back to you.
Yes, sir.
You're also a fitness expert and a coach. Somebody comes to you and says, Drew, I'm a pretty good runner. I've clicked off, a 2:55 marathon last year. I think I want to go after Zach's world record. How does somebody start preparing for something like this? Obviously, you'd say, why don't you start running? You've got a few more years of base miles to put in here. But we got to talk about strength. We got to talk about endurance. We got to talk about diet. I think the 3 pillars right there. What do you?
Yeah, I think that's a great place to get started. Those 3 pillars right there. When I had Zach on my podcast, I kind of picked his brain about how he's able to pull something like this off. And I think some people are naturally born runners, but I think a lot of people think when they get into the world of running, that's all they focus on. That's all they do. It's about hitting that X amount of miles per week, and that's all they focus on, versus it's almost becomes a full-time job at that point. If you're looking to be at Zach's level, it's got to be more than just, okay, if I can get around to it, it's got to become almost a full-time job where you do have, and here's the thing, if you're an MMA fighter, you're going to hire a boxing coach, you're going to hire a jiu-jitsu coach, you're going to hire a conditioning coach, you're going to hire a strength coach. There's no one size fits all. And so I feel like you do have to have different coaches in these different pillars to help you achieve, because if you do want to be good at running, there is a strength aspect to it, to pick up the pace, to get faster. You can't just, try and sprint your way through it. I think there is a strength aspect to it that a lot of people don't know about. And
Very
I think
true.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he just run faster? What's wrong
exactly.
with this guy?
Just sprint the whole time, like that's what it looks like Zach's doing. That's why he's making it look so like he's sprinting for 100 miles. I don't like that. That is definitely next level for sure. But I think genetics play a factor for sure, but also hard work, dedication, and he has the knowledge, nutrition, strength, sleep, stress management, all kinds of things that go into this. And so if you do want to become good at this, you got to dedicate the time. It's all about priorities. Just like when it comes to weight loss, I help a lot of people lose weight through the ketogenic diet. If you want that to become part of your lifestyle, it has to become a priority in order for you to adopt that lifestyle. Because otherwise, the problem that people have is this diet mentality where they just, they try and do a new diet for 30 days or 60 days and until it gets hard. And then they're like, well, that didn't work for me and it's hard to sustain. Yeah. Yep. Well, of course, it's going to be hard to sustain if you're setting yourself up for failure from the beginning by thinking, I got to be perfect. And so anyways, hopefully that answers your question a little bit about this, but I think it's not as simple as some people might think it is. And there's so many different factors, nutrition. I think there's also a mental and emotional component too that is overlooked. The mental and emotional side of transformation is way overlooked. A lot of people think it's about macros, calories, supplements, training, all that is important. There we go. That'll wake you up.
70 miles. Jesus.
I love that. That is a cool. Is that every mile or every 10 miles?
It's every 10 miles or like significant miles, but 70 miles. And I don't know what we're looking at right now. We're looking at 8.5 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he's almost done. I mean, that's the thing is if you could do 100 miles in less than 12 hours, like go for it. Why do it in 24 hours when you could do it in 12?
Yeah. There's kids outside his window yelling, "You're almost there."
That's awesome.
But I agree completely. And Zach benefits also. He's married to Nicole, who is an endurance athlete. They work in the industry. They don't have kids to take care of. They're able to focus 100% of their time on this. And that plays a big role as well. He's very, very fortunate.
Yeah, for sure. That's like a next level athlete, but I think for average person out there, you can still achieve great results, but you just got to find, that balance between, okay, how much time do I want to dedicate to this? How much time do I want to dedicate to family and my business? All there's so many things to balance there. And so,
yeah, that's what surprised me. I on the 7-8 years ago. And I remember, I think he was still teaching at the time, but talking on a level about body chemistry and physiology that I must ask him a few times, are you sure you're not a you're not like an engineer or a physical therapist or something. I mean, he knows just a tremendous amount about every single thing that's going on in his body. And you need, again, that's something you need to do to perform at this level. How's he doing right now? Let's just get a peek at him down there. He looks the same. One thing he does. I mean, I'm convinced that somebody's going to call a moon landing on this and say that he's, they're just putting.
Yeah, he just looped like 60 seconds of him running at the same pace.
and what's interesting too is they'll pop up pretty soon here. Hopefully, a thing that shows his heart rate and his pace and all that type of stuff. And his heart rate the entire time. I mean, since about 20 minutes into it this morning, has been between 144 and 148. It's just been a static line. It's just been very, very consistent. And that's what it takes, to use something like you said. A lot of people would hop on and just try to go faster. Yeah. And Zach, you want to talk about knowing pacing. I mean, there's 3 guys I would trust with pacing, and Zach's one of them. Zach and Ian Sharman and Bob Hearn are the three pacers in the world, I think. And Zach is on this pace right now. And again, like we talked about earlier, it's also easy when you can set a treadmill and say, this is what we're going to do. But anybody who's tried a good treadmill workout, you pump it up quite a bit, you get to sub 6, you do it, and then you go, oh, good Lord.
Your heart rate.
Yeah. You pull that back, you pull that down before you go flying off the back of the machine. So. Yeah.
I'll just say this really quick. I'm an example of someone who's not a runner, who is really transitioning into becoming a runner. And Zach's been one of those guys that I've picked his brain, because I was not a born runner. I only ran for punishments in football if I miss a tackle. That's not, or if I had to chase someone down, but I don't run. And so for me now at 39 to try and, get to that level, like it's been humbling, but I've learned so much about the body and the mind. David Goggins is another one who was not born a natural runner, but boom, just stepped into it. He's kind of freak of nature.
He's an outlier. That's not fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't compare yourself to David Goggins.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is, like, we have these self-limiting beliefs where we don't think we can do these hard things. Yeah. And really, you've never tried. Like, you don't know until you try, until you push yourself to your limits. And last year was a test of like, wow, I got 80 miles in 24 hours. That's not 100, but 80 miles, like I think I can do 100 this year. So I have it coming up in June. I'm going to be doing a 100-mile race just by myself because everything's canceled. Where? It's going to be here in Utah with a couple other people raising money for charity. But this time I think I'll be a little bit smarter. I've been training for 6-7 months now instead of 1 month.
What happened at 80 for you? Was it a mental breakdown or physical breakdown?
It was physical. I had lost my appetite. Zero. I didn't want any food. Nothing sounded good. And the last 5 hours I had to slowly lower my pace, and the last 4 hours I just had to walk. Like, it was so painful to run at that point. I just think the inflammation and my strategy, I think I was probably dehydrated as well, because I lost my appetite. There's no food the last 5 hours. And so, I walked the last 5 hours, and that's why I got 80 miles.
It happens. Yeah. 100 milers are a different beast.
Yeah. And I went from 0 to 100. Like, I've never done a marathon or a half marathon. You know what I'm saying? So that's, I'm like, I failed, yes, but I'm also proud of myself for getting 80.
I will bet you learned a tremendous amount in 80 miles. And again, you learned more by failure than you would have if you'd crawled across the finish line at 30 hours.
It's true.
Yeah. Anxious to see what you're going to do next.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep you posted on that. And thanks for having me on, Eric. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate it. All right. Take care, Drew.
Okay. Have a good one.
Bye now.